That is a $2,000 electric scooter thing that I just bought online for only $100 because apparently it's broken and doesn't work. But sadly, it's the only electric vehicle that I can afford, so I'm gonna try and fix it up. For the most part, I don't really know what I'm doing here. So let's take a quick look at the bike. At the back of this thing, there is a big hub motor that is gonna make it go forward when I apply electricity to these 3 wires here. In the middle, there's a bunch of scraps and wires and stuff. Looks like a headlight. I could maybe use that. Oh, that's a horn button. Okay, maybe there's a horn in here too. I'm not sure if any of this stuff works. Oh. And some leaves, yay. There's a hydraulic brake that's probably broken. That's the front brake. And the back brake just doesn't look like it's attached to anything. It's kind of just a frame with a back hub motor. And I gotta figure out how to get this thing working. I have this 48 volt lead acid battery that I got off a different scooter that I bought. I may have purchased a couple of scooters trying to fix them up. And right now I'm gonna try and attach wires to this without shorting it. So I'm not really sure how to wire a 3-phase motor, but my hope is that if I supply some electricity, something will happen. Oh my. So maybe I shouldn't do that. I actually managed to burn through the metal on the wire there. This is nice and burnt too. Maybe I should figure out how these things actually work. Alexa, turn off the fan. I'm not sure why my eyes are so red, but here's how the motor works. The back wheel on the scooter is just a big motor, and if we take a look on the inside, we'll see a bunch of magnets, some coils, and 3 wires. When you run electricity through 2 of the 3 wires, some of the coils turn into electromagnets, and the wheels turn because that's how magnets work. And I guess you need to limit the current somehow, so you're not just creating a short circuit and... Oh my... Run electricity through a different combination of wires, different coils will turn into electromagnets, and the wheel turns more. Keep doing this and you get a rotating wheel. Also, there's sensors in the wheel to detect where the magnets are so you know when it's time to switch the wires. And instead of just switching the wires, you should balance the 3-phase voltage with perfect sine waves. And all of that does sound complicated, but it turns out you can just go on Amazon and buy an e-bike motor controller that does all of these things plus more. And Amazon even suggests buying a throttle here as a package deal for $84 so that I can actually drive this scooter properly. And so I bought these, and now I just need to figure out how to actually wire this thing up to the scooter so that everything works. I definitely don't have any of the right tools, so I'm hoping stuff just works. I don't have a heat gun, but I do have a blowtorch, which works just as well. Right now this looks like a big mess of wires because it is a big mess of wires, but the wires from the controller have to match the wires on the motor, so yellow to yellow, green to green, and blue to blue. I've also connected this cable that's going to go straight into the battery, and that is connected directly to the motor controller so that it can supply the electricity to the motor. Now I have to connect the sensor wires from the motor to the sensor wires on the controller somehow. That should do it. And the controller should just fit in here. And now I can hook up the battery to this. I want to put the battery in this section here, and there's these pedals so that you can actually pedal this thing, I guess, if the motor dies, but I think they're pretty pointless, so I kind of just want to take these off right now and get them out of the way. I managed to get the pedals off, but I can't get this gear off, so I guess that's just gonna stay there for now. I am really hoping that nothing bad happens when I plug this in. Okay, so it's plugged into the battery, it's plugged into the motor. Now we just need a throttle to make the wheel actually turn. The throttle is actually just a 3-wire potentiometer. So that was pretty easy to wire up. And the ignition wires need to be connected directly to the power source to control whether the bike is on or off. So everything is all wired up now, and if I turn this key, we should be able to see the battery voltage light up. And then moment of truth, if I turn the throttle, holy shit, it works. So this thing is pretty much fully functional now. The only thing missing is brakes, but I think it's time to test this thing out. So I went and bought myself a brake from the bike shop. I also just removed the front brake completely since it wasn't working at all, and I have no idea how to fix a hydraulic brake. But with one brake working, I really wanted to test this thing out, so I took it for a drive around the seawall. And honestly, it drove so much better than I expected. And I'm probably a little bit too big for this thing, but it's still really comfortable. Mostly. This thing makes going uphill so much easier. The scooter works pretty much perfectly right now, but that huge battery pack that I have on it is only 48 volts, and this thing really needs a 60 volt battery pack. So I have a Power Tools battery that is for 60 volts that I need to put onto the scooter. I have a voltage converter so that I can set up all of the headlights and the horn and anything else that needs 12 volts. I also have this microcontroller and an iPad mini because I want to write a bunch of code and try and overcomplicate this scooter a lot. But unfortunately, I don't have time for any of these things right now, so they're all going to have to wait for future videos. So make sure you're subscribed and you look out for those videos, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this video.